Hello, eRank. Welcome to another Thursday Live with me, Pam Duthie, and her. That was a slow countdown. Starla Moore.
It's the first time that we together have been on in what, 3 weeks?
At least that, yeah. So, hello, good to see you, Starla.
Hi, yeah. So I had COVID and Pam was joined with Anthony. And then, we live in completely separate countries, but immediately Pam got COVID. So we can only assume that she got it from me because, our boxes
Absolutely.
are so close together.
I was
Um,
just jealous of all the attention Starla was getting, so I just stole COVID off her through the webcam.
so Pam was sick last week, and I hung out with Anthony. That was a really great Q&A. So that's on YouTube if you guys want to go back and watch it. It's floating around the Facebook group as well, but it's probably a lot easier to find it on the YouTube channel. But yeah, guys, if this is your first time watching, welcome, welcome. We always start our Q&A sessions with posts that are submitted or questions that are submitted on our Wednesday post. If for any reason time zones don't permit you to make it live, or if you're worried you're not going to be able to make it because you're busy, you can join the eRank Facebook group. And on the pinned post every Wednesday in the group, you can submit a couple questions early if you want to. That way you can make sure those get answered, whether, if you can't be here, that you can watch the replay. So we've got a couple of those, and then we'll be getting questions from the live chat. You guys can hang out with us and ask us some things. I noticed that we did already have a couple questions, so we will be getting to those in just a minute. Other than that, Pam, did we have any news from Anthony?
Um, we have yes, we're allowed to mention it because he's brought it up in the group. I think we got the estimated sales back, everybody.
Yes.
So
After
that's
everybody
about
was very upset.
yep. Yeah, well, it's one of these things. I think we made it, we created it, we spoke to Etsy. Etsy didn't seem happy, but we took it away and then we thought, nah, let's bring this back. So for everyone who loved it, it's back. That's in the listing audit. So
Yes.
I've had a week off, so I've forgotten how to use eRank. So, but that's in the listing audit section. Bear in mind, this is just an estimate, which Anthony's figured out is about 80% accurate. So don't take it to be 100% accurate. We're just using the data that we get from Etsy, which isn't the actual sales data. We're using clever algorithms to figure that out. So it's an estimate. It's there to help you, but don't take it as gospel.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So it looks like we have 5 questions from the group, so we can go ahead and bump to those. But guys, feel free to get your questions into the live chat if you have them, and we will answer those after we answer our 5 early bird questions. Anna had asked, I'm wondering what the most popular sellers for POD are on Etsy, and or which have decent profit margins. It seems like things such as stickers and mugs don't have great margins. Anna, there's no real way for us to answer this question. However, I will say that I personally spoke with Printify about their top selling items when we got the new POD category for our monthly trend. Our
I
monthly
think
trends,
so.
I believe,
Yeah,
is where they are.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So if you hover over the trends menu in eRank and open up the monthly trend report, you'll have a list of all different, categories like paper and party supplies, jewelry, yada yada. Scroll all the way down and there will be a separate POD category, and those are the most popular products in POD according to Printify. They kind of gave us a little list of those top trends, and then you can click on each of those categories. I think it's like shirts, hoodies, phone cases, tote bags. You can click on one of those and then you'll be able to see the top searched items for those particular categories. So feel free to explore that. You should be able to find some decent ideas. And I like to kind of combine them. For example, I did an example a couple weeks ago where I couldn't find any good shirt related terms in the POD shirts tab, but I went into paper and party supplies and I noticed that lots of things with dragons were super trendy. So, okay, if we know that shirts are selling and in paper and party supplies, lots of dragon things are selling, maybe if you're making like a Father's Day shirt collection, you could make shirts with dragons on them, because though they weren't trending necessarily in shirts, if dragons are trendy, they'll probably be trendy everywhere. So just a different way to kind of look at things.
Yeah, that's the best way to deal with these big categories. Don't Most of us aren't ever going to be able to rank for the exact top things, but if you combine things together, it's a really good idea. As for the profit margin, in general, you're setting that yourself.
Mhm.
Obviously, it depends, what your competition is, but if you're designing something that's unique and wonderful to go onto these items, then you can charge what works for you and what works for your customer.
Yeah, and if you've got some great keywords associated with those products, type those into the keyword tool and scroll down under the big table of keyword suggestions. There's also a common price points area where you can see what other sellers are charging for similar items. I would recommend trying to find that top 10%. Don't try to hang out with the guys that aren't charging enough. Look at who the top sellers are in those top price points, and as long as you're creating quality products, you should be able to price realistically next to some of your biggest competitors rather than the competitors that aren't charging enough. So,
Exactly.
um,
Don't get involved in this race to the bottom.
oh yeah, nobody wins in a race to the bottom.
Mhm.
Andrea asked, do you look in multiple places to help discover superstar keywords? Do you use eRank, Etsy, Target Trends, Google, for example? So sometimes Target Trends, and I'm going to be doing a live Friday Bean tomorrow at noon Eastern on my YouTube channel about how I use Target Trends. Sometimes you can find some pretty good keywords in the Target Trends area, which again, I'll show you guys how to do that, especially for those of you who don't have a Target in your area. You can still kind of scrounge their website and steal good ideas. But for the most part, I stick with eRank because you can take terms that you found elsewhere and pop them into eRank and see how many people are, on average searching for those things. I would always stick to eRank for my final, decision. Other places might be a good place to get ideas, but you want to make sure that you're checking them. Otherwise, you'll have no idea if people are actually searching for them.
Yeah, you can use it for the ideas to look and say, oh, suddenly galaxies like trending or something. And
Mhm.
that might give you an idea for something for a background that you see dragons are trending, so you put dragon on a galaxy background or something. It's to
Yeah.
give you ideas. How I would sort of see it, and I totally agree with Starla, is eRank's always going to be my final place to check all these ideas to see who's searching for them, because it's the only place you're getting the actual numbers. Um, but I sort of see superstar keywords as the things that are for you, that are working for you. You have keywords that you're experimenting with and stuff. So you use eRank and you use all these places to get ideas. You make your listings, and how I find my superstar keywords is then I go into my Etsy stats and see what's working, or shop stats on eRank if you've connected your Google Analytics for the while we've still got it left. But your superstar keywords are the ones that are totally working for you. So it's like a recycling thing. You get some ideas and then you run them on tests, and then you look into your shop and see what's working, and you take what's working and you run it back through eRank, and you just keep on going and keep on going that way. But yeah, it's always testing, it's always work.
All right. Let's see. Deborah asked, when doing a listing audit of an older listing with no views, no hearts, and no sales, big fat zeros across the board, under the letter grade, this one is an A, then tips, it states this listing has an excellent conversion rate. Although there may be tips for changes, you may want to test them gradually to ensure your conversion rates do not drop. Since nothing is converting on this listing, what exactly is eRank using to determine that this zero listing is converting with no viable conversion history on the listing? Um, that might be something that she might want to bring up with the support team and maybe send us some screenshots so our developers can see
Yeah,
a little.
that sounds like a glitch, that perhaps our system isn't reading zero correctly or something. Um,
Yeah. I would reach out, support at erank.com, or just click on the little bottom right hand corner while you're logged into erank to our little chat. And it's likely going to be one of our girls who see your message, but they'll need to pass that along to our actual developers and have them take a peek at it. But definitely send it to us that way. That way we can have one of our awesome back end experts take a peek. Okay, let's see. Jessica said, let's say you make a sale, then for whatever reason need to cancel the sale and refund. Does that item drop back to wherever it was ranking before, or does it still rank a little higher because it's made a sale? So does it still positively affect your listing quality score if you make a sale, but then you have to refund? That's a good question. And I don't think that we've ever gotten anything official from Etsy to answer that.
No, and I don't think we ever will, because it's not really something that Etsy's going to want us to manipulate.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you. I'm trying to remember, it's a while since I've refunded, since I've cancelled an order, but I didn't see any drop in rankings or anything. So it definitely doesn't hurt you. But it's one of those things. This is a customer service type thing. This helps your customers. So I wouldn't worry it. I wouldn't worry about what it's going to do to your shop, because it's not a strategy that you could implement without doing dodgy things anyway. So
Yeah. I'm, it's not the singular sale that makes your shop succeed. It is making repeat sale. So one little sale that you refund, I don't think it's going to hurt you at all. But I also don't think that one little sale is enough that it's going to make any game changers for your shop. It's a valid question. I just don't think that it's anything that we have any way to think of an answer or find an answer for. Because I doubt Etsy would tell us if we asked them, because then they would
no,
worry that people would game the system. If they disclose that it does work, then a bunch of people would make fake purchases and issue refunds to try to game it. So
exactly. I mean, I totally understand why people think, like, if you've had a sale and you're needing to refund it, you're going, what is this going to do for my SEO? But a lot of the times, your first thought should always be, what's my customer service? Is this a good thing to be doing? Worry about your SEO and everything in terms of making good listings, running your shop, worry about your customer.
yeah. And then Jessica had one more question, and then we'll get to questions in the chat, because I see Kirsten had asked something, and Facebook user had asked something as well. Oh, and this is Pam. This is one that I know you've got an answer for. So I know that listings rank higher after they've made a sale, but when you make a sale via sharing a link on social media, how does Etsy know what keywords to make that listing rank higher for? Or does it just rank a little higher for each of the keyword combos that the listing can match for? Yeah. Do you want to tackle that one? I've got my own
Yeah, kind of. Um, first, Firstly, as we've said a million times, like, getting views and everything from social media doesn't hurt your shop in any way. You're correct. It can't attribute a keyword to that sale because it didn't come through a keyword. So if someone is searching in Etsy search, and they search for something and they see your item for that keyword and they purchase it through that keyword, then you're likely to rank a good bit better for that keyword. Your listing and your entire shop, well, firstly, your listing does a little bit better for a sale and a relist. It just gets a bump in sort of all searches. It's not necessarily a huge bump, but it gets a bit of a bump. And also your entire shop, your what is it, marketplace score or something,
customer and
that
marketplace.
that's the yeah, I can't do sentences just now. So when you make the sale and you get some good reviews and you ship it on time and all the good customer service stuff, then your entire shop gets a boost. But these boosts are little, like Starla says. It's not one sale's going to suddenly make your shop. It's like the little build up over time. So yeah, getting seen in social media, Etsy definitely doesn't hate that. You're bringing in new customers to the entire platform. Making a sale, that's a good thing. Making a sale and relisting the listing, that's also a positive thing. And then all the other factors help Etsy trust you, shipping it out, having a happy customer, hopefully having a repeat customer. These all bump you up a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cumulative thing, but it'll help. It won't just help for one keyword, it'll help a little bit for everything.
Yeah. How many times have you guys made a sale and then oddly, out of nowhere, you make another sale the same day or late, the next day of the same item, and you're like, whoa, what are the odds? It's Etsy is probably, said, okay, this listing sold to this person, so maybe we'll show it to more people who are interested in this type of thing and see if we can get it to sell again. So you can feel these experiments. It's most people are they sum it up to, oh, that's weird, but you can usually it's almost like the
Yeah.
ghost of Etsy listing quality. You can feel it, you can sense it. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and hop to our Facebook and YouTube questions. I see we have quite a few, so we will get to you all here in just a second. David over on Facebook asked, how long does it take for items to show on Etsy? As I recently listed an item, it has been a week and I can't find it for the exact 5 words that my title starts with if I search for them on Etsy. In terms of indexing, it happens immediately. It's not it is on Etsy. Are you, David, are you trying to search for your own item by typing in your keywords into Etsy and finding it that way? Because I would be using the rank checker instead, to kind of see your average position, because your search is personalized. And if Etsy's saying, well, David's not interested in any of the things that he's typing into the search bar, or, David doesn't typically search for items like, this, then they're less likely to recommend or show you your own items. It would be better for you to check something like the rank checker, which strips that level of personalization off of those listings. And it does come directly from Etsy's API. So that's great for knowing you know, if the right people are seeing your listings, even if you yourself as a seller are not the right target audience for your products.
Yeah. What are the 5 words you're searching for? It could be that that's a keyword that's very competitive, so you're just not showing up for it. One thing you can do, your items should, as Starla says, that as far as I can see, they're indexed. You'll see them in the rank checker within about 15 minutes, if they're there. The personalization algorithm does seem to take a little longer, but I'm talking maybe about a day. Literally, things should be slotting into that nice and quickly. So if you've hit the rank checker, it's just dropping into the personalization algorithm. It's going to show up in the next day or so, definitely. If it's been listed for a week, it should definitely be showing. What you can do, I think it was Anthony that taught us this one, sacrifice one of your tags for some kind of gobbledygook tag that nobody else would be using, and then you can search for that and you'll see that you're showing up. Very, very rarely, if you really, I've got like Pam test 1, Pam test 2, like all one word. I hide that somewhere so I can always search. Occasionally, it'll happen that for some reasons, it could be an accident, or it could be if somebody's had a high level of sales, Etsy can unindex your shop. This is very rare, but it happens. So if you've got this gobbledygook keyword and your listings are definitely not showing up, if you search for your exact shop name, nothing's showing up, then you can contact Etsy and say something's wrong here and get them to look at it. But if you're finding everything else in your shop and it's just this listing, check it's actually live. You have actually published it. I've done that before. And check that what you're searching for is something that's not so competitive that it's not a case of you can't see it. It's a case that you're just ranking so low that you're not guaranteed to be in the first few pages if something's very competitive.
Yeah. All right. Over on YouTube, Kirsten asked, does the rank checker tool take Etsy ads into account? Etsy
Nope.
ads have their own algorithm, they are their own separate thing.
Yep. I'm sure on the rank checker we do say, if you click on the help, we do say that it is your rank position excluding ads. Um,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
if you're ever not sure, there should be a help file on the page. And also, yes, I'm forgetting now. I've been away for a week. If you click the bottom right-hand button, you will see some helpful stuff there. And also, if there's little orange question marks anywhere on the page, we call them tooltips. Hover over them; they'll explain little bits as well if you're ever stuck. But absolutely, ask them here. We like ones that are nice and easy and quick to answer too.
Yeah. And guys, make sure that you're checking out that new help feature that she mentioned down in the bottom right corner. It used to be the feedback button. Now it looks like a little chat icon. That isn't just to chat with support. You can click on that and it will give you suggestion or suggested articles and help based on the tool page that you're on. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what this tool is and I don't know how it works, click into that and it will give you some different articles related to that particular tool that you can explore if you have any questions about that tool. It's very likely that your answer is somewhere in there. That way you don't have to wait until Thursday to ask us. Though we do love it because it gives us something to talk about.
Exactly.
All right, over on YouTube, Dorothy asked, I've got a few items with 5 to 7 in the cart. It's so frustrating and disheartening. Any advice? Don't stress about it. I put items in my cart that I never planned to buy. It is a way for, some shoppers just stick items in their cart as a way to favorite them, save them for later. There's nothing you can do aside from maybe setting up your abandoned cart coupon within your marketing and promotions tab on Etsy. You can do that. But even then, there are shoppers like me. I'm one of those people that is frustrating and disheartening, who just adds a bunch of things to their cart because someday I might decide to buy it, or I want to keep it separate from my actual favorites because, sometimes I favorite something and it favorites all the variations, but sometimes I want to select the exact size and color of something that I want. And I add that into my cart so I don't lose the exact version that I wanted. I did that last night with a big neon sign. And if I would have favorited it, I wouldn't have been able to favorite the exact size that I measured out and the exact color I selected from this big list that the seller had provided. So I selected the two variants that I wanted and I put it in my cart. And, I don't even know if that's the one I'm going to buy. But look at it as a positive thing because anytime someone goes to your shop, they're going to see, oh no, this item is in 10 people's carts. I better hurry up and check out. It actually helps with your scarcity and can promote other people to take action. So I think it's a good thing to have lots of items in people's carts.
Yeah, so apparently it's these pesky millennials searching differently than us. But yeah, everyone searches differently, but I would see these like, don't stress about them. In
Mhm.
reality, they're there, as Starla says, they're there to kind of freak out the buyer a little bit. They're not there for the seller. They're there to go, oh, look, there's only one of these left and 200 people have it in their cart.
Yeah.
I don't even look at mine, but if you think about it, if someone searches for something and they click on it in a view, that's a positive signal. That's good. That's someone seen it and they've kind of liked it. And then if they click on it, they view it, and then they heart it, that's like even better. Click on it, view it, they put it in their basket. That's even better. But it's no guarantee of a sale. You could have a Starla who's just like disheartening you there. But yeah, it means people are seeing it and liking it, but there's nothing we can do about it. So do not spend any time other than going, oh, this item's looking a bit popular, but it's not worth stressing about at all.
Yeah, and it might be a good indicator that people are finding it. It might be a good indicator that your SEO is good. It might be a good indicator that your photos are good. If I noticed that like 20 people had one of my items in their cart, that's not the listing that I would be changing. I would leave that listing alone and maybe work on the item that's in nobody's carts and has never sold. So maybe use it as a way to decide which listings need some work.
Absolutely. Well, I know all my top selling items they're in lots of carts, they're lots of hearted. Even when I remember and look, they're also in collections. That's the new word for treasuries.
Yeah.
You know, people save them and stuff. So it's like a step on the process, and the most popular listings probably have the most activity. So yeah, it's a good thing.
All right. I know that your name is AHATX, but I just read that as Aha, Texas. Um,
Cool.
so, Aha, Texas asks, does anyone know when Etsy is going to enable the alt text function on images with the new listing page version? Currently, you can't do it. So, for one, I haven't played with the new list. Have you played with the new listing page? I've seen
I've
it a
not.
few.
Yeah, I don't have it yet, or I don't believe I have it yet.
Same. I haven't really looked for it yet. I, I would say that just like with everything new that Etsy introduces, like their annoying blue Etsy seller app that doesn't work, that there will be things that will take them a little bit longer to switch over. From everything that I've seen about that new listing editor page, nobody seems to be happy with it. And if you have the option to continue using the old version, I would do that because it doesn't sound like this new version works very well. And I've noticed a lot of people reporting that they fill out their listing and then it won't save, or they
Mhm.
keep losing all of their work. Like, to me, that doesn't even sound worth it. I wouldn't even risk it. If I had the option to use the old editor, I would stick with what works rather than potentially lose all the work that I did because they haven't perfected this new listing page.
Yeah. If there's things that you feel in any of these changes that you really need and it isn't included yet, drop Etsy a message. One message doesn't make a difference, but if hundreds of us are telling Etsy that a feature is important, then they'll probably put it up a little higher. I'm not going to say that I wish they would wait till these things were fully formed before they release them, but yeah, it is a bit frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. All right. Jane asked, started a digital art shop in January 23. Hardly any sales. Well, you're brand new. I was thinking to change the shop name slightly and list a more niche product. So complete stock change. Will this hurt my shop to start over? Jane, it sounds like you're just starting. Making your first sales, it can take time. Um, if you do look at the top selling shops on Etsy, excluding the ones that sell like supplies and beads and things, if you actually go to our top sellers report in eRank and start looking at them, most of the most successful shops do have niches. They are shops that have defined a specific niche. So I'm not going to say that it wouldn't help, but I'm also going to tell you not to get discouraged if you haven't made sales yet, simply because it can take a while. What I would do is start looking at the reasons why shoppers commonly don't purchase items. Is your shop completely filled out? Do you have good branding to help develop trust? Is your pricing aligned well? Is your SEO good? Have you made sure that your SEO is good? Do you have a social media presence yet? There's a lot of things that you can do to kind of help your shop along.
Yeah. But I am reading January 23rd is you are very new and you're saying hardly any sales. There are a vast majority of shops are going to have basically struggle to make their first sale in their first 6 months. So,
Yeah.
possibly your expectations, and I totally like, we all had these expectations. You come in, you expect to list it and make sales, but it takes time to, because 'cause you're having to learn all these new skills if you didn't have them before. You're having to learn about social media, SEO, marketing, creating digital art. There's a lot going on, so don't be hard on yourself, and don't spend too much time trying to change it, going like, "Oh, it's broken already. I've got a shop that's like, what, 2.5 months old or something?" Couple of months old shop, and you're going, "Oh no, I'm gonna completely change it." Now, if you've found a really cool niche and you really wanna niche down into that, especially if the niche is what you've had the sales in, you're not gonna hurt your shop at all. That's not a bad thing at all. And as Starla says, a lot of the top ones do have some level of a niche. It definitely, rather than try and hit for everybody, if you if you be the really cool niche in a certain thing that people keep coming back to, that can be cool. But yeah, don't keep on changing things expecting you should be having hundreds of sales every day. It's going to take a while to build up to that.
Yeah. All right. We've got one question from, I think it's Angelia over on YouTube. But after that, we're out of questions and we still have 30 minutes to go. So we've got, it appears that there are 52 of you over on YouTube watching, and we've got quite a few on Facebook as well. So please make sure that you get some questions in so that we can fill out our time and not sit here and stare into the blue yonder.
That would make a great life, wouldn't it? Just like, mm, mhm.
All right. Angelia, feel free to yell at me if I mispronounced your name. Would love to learn how to find similar shops as my own. Same start time, same type of listings to track, follow, and learn from as well. I don't know about start time, but you can find shops that sell similar items as you. If you go into the keyword tool and type in a couple keywords related to what you sell, and then you scroll all the way down the page, we'll actually show you other listings that share those keywords, and you can usually find some competitors to look at, and then you can track them in some of our competitor tools to kind of keep an eye on what they're up to.
Absolutely. We actually probably, if you're in the competitor page and you hit the little help button, you should see some files and some videos. If not, in this YouTube channel, yep, you're on YouTube. We just did a whole series of videos on competitors. I literally did these videos and I can't remember what I said, but it's showing how to use all the tools to find competitors. It's going to be difficult to find exact ones, like Starla said, that opened at the exact same time, that are doing the exact same thing as you. Everybody is different. So someone who opened at the exact same time as you maybe is a social media superstar somewhere. So they're still not necessarily your direct competitors. You're wanting to look for people who, as you say, similar to your own, ones that have about the same kind of experience as you, getting the same kind of sales, because that's, and again, I'm sure we all do it, is you look and you go, I sell this kind of thing and I see my competitors are making 10,000 sales a day and I'm only making 4. That's not your competitor then. That's like saying, why does Jason Momoa get more movie roles than I do? It's like, okay, that's not your competitor.
Yeah. Jason Momoa's got a better track record than you, and he doesn't need to work very hard. He can show up in a potato sack and get a role. You've got to dress nice and come with nice clothes and something to offer. It takes a little bit more time. All right. BA signs and stuff. Do you have any recommendations on who to watch for Reels tips on SEO and such? I went from 20,000 views to like 10. I'm thinking I just got lucky on those first few times. No, Reels are getting more saturated, just like the first TikTokers had, a tremendous amount of views. And now, more and more people are using TikTok. So it's becoming more competitive. SEO on Instagram is hard because there aren't any like keyword tools that I know of that I can verify for Instagram. However, just try to find niches that are already popular on Instagram by looking at people who do similar things. You can kind of explore the terms that they're using. Hashtags are still very, very important for the algorithm on TikTok. That's something recent that TikTok just announced, that hashtags are still very important. However, over on Instagram, hashtags aren't as important for the algorithm. Keywords in your caption are important for the algorithm, though. In terms of SEO specifically, I don't know of anyone, unfortunately, but my favorite person to follow for Instagram tips is Brock Johnson. He's my new favorite. I have started following him on Instagram specifically. He doesn't really upload very many YouTube videos, but he stays on top of everything. He is a huge Instagram influencer and coach. Can't verify any of his paid programs, but he's my favorite to stay up to. I also enjoy Modern Millie. She teaches both Instagram and TikTok content. And she has a very, very great YouTube channel with tons of videos. And then the last one, if you want from the horse's mouth, is Adam Mosseri. Adam Mosseri. He is the CEO of Instagram, and he constantly creates Instagram reels and videos talking about changes and things. So I would recommend following those people: Brock Johnson, Modern Millie, and Adam Mosseri specifically. So
Yeah, did they not just say recently they're focusing a little more on photos again?
carousels are the
Yeah,
new
yeah.
carousels, but carousels don't help you reach a new audience. They help you
Mhm,
to engage with your current audience. However, the images that you can kind of
mhm.
scroll through, those are going to be your big engagement go-getters right now. They tend to be what performs well, and I've tested it myself. Both on I run the eRank Instagram account, and they tend to perform better there. I've done them on my personal Instagram account. They do better on there as well. So yeah, I would really focus on nurturing your current audience with those carousels, and then just keep tossing reels out into the oblivion. I'm noticing the same results. My reels seldom get views, and then I'll release one reel and it'll blow up out of nowhere for no reason, and I can't even begin to define what made it do well.
Yeah, it's tricky. Unfortunately, um, a lot of these things, when they start and they're new, the platforms push them a little bit more because 'cause they're trying to learn what works. They're experimenting as well. So you'll find, it was a really good time to grow with that. And now we've all gotta it's not a case of always jumping on the new and shiny, but jumping on the new and shiny that's working and doing that while at the same time, as Starla said, it's really important to keep your audience, the current audience you have, engaged. Hopefully, if you were getting 20,000 views on a reel, you'll have got some kind of an audience. Keep them engaged, keep experimenting with different things. And it's horrible to say, but for any of these, the secret is make stuff that people want to watch and keep making it, because sometimes some of that spaghetti on the wall sticks. You can do 200 things that are absolutely all brilliant, but only a few of them will actually catch the audience. That's just how it is. The wild west of reels, shorts, Pinterest videos, all these magic things are not so big anymore.
Yeah. All right. Divine duas, I'm probably pronouncing you all wrong. I have a personalization shop. I also want to start a POD product shop. Should I open a separate shop? That POD is not a niche. Personalization is not a niche. Those are not niches. What is your niche? What is your target audience? That is what will determine if those two types of products go together. Do they all have cats on them, personalized cat products and POD cat products? Your niche is cats, not POD and not personalization. So think more about who you're trying to target. If you're selling, I always use the example of antique cigar boxes and baby clothes. If you're making those two items, they probably don't go together very well.
Absolutely. That could very much be things that go together. It wouldn't be something that put people off, just so long as they're things that go together.
Yeah.
Yes, personalized cat images and print on demand cat images absolutely go together. Just yeah.
All right. Hi, Melanie. Melanie said a lot of shops in my niche have crazy sales, 50 to 70% off. Is this a good strategy to get loads of sales fast? Will this hurt your brand perception / value / image? I mean, I think that it's important to ask yourself what type of anchor you're setting. Your anchor is really how people associate your brand. For example, Coach purses are very expensive, very fancy. They've got a very recognizable brand. You know that Coach purses are expensive. And occasionally, if Coach runs a sale on their purses, you're still going to value the purse at the original price point. If you got a $600 purse for $200, you're still going to tell all your friends it's a $600 purse. You don't have to disclose that you got it for a great deal. However, if Coach always had all of their purses on sale all the time, you would stop seeing that original price point as the anchor, and you would start seeing that constant price as the anchor. So running little quick sales on items that you want to move quickly, items that you want to get rid of, or if you're celebrating a holiday or something, those typically do not hurt your brand perception. But if you leave those sales on all the time and you're constantly running them, then people will be conditioned to wait for those sales, which can hurt your perception for that anchor price that you originally set.
Yeah, I can't even remember the name of the company, but there was a car company that is no longer a car company for that very thing. It kept having sales, and people knew it was going to keep having sales, and so they waited, and they could never sell a car at full price. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they totally went out of business. And yeah, think about what you are saying to the people. Are you a quality brand, or are you a rock bottom brand? I know if you're not getting sales, you look and you think, "Oh, if I drop my prices, I'll get tons of sales." Chances are you'll get one of two things. If you weren't getting seen anyway, you're still not going to get seen. Sales generally only work if you have a following, and some of that following are sitting waiting on sales. Um, but the other thing is, sorry to say it, I've totally discovered you get horrible customers. If someone pays 70% off, they expect the moon on a stick, and the messages you get are way worse. I would prefer to put up my prices up 70% and deal with like half as many customers.
Yeah, yeah, because ultimately you make the same amount of money either way.
Exactly.
All right. We've got a little over 15 minutes, so we will go ahead and start speed rounding because we had a lot of questions come in over on YouTube. But Anna on Facebook asked, thanks to eRank and Handmade Alphas, I know that shipping internationally is more complicated than simply shipping stuff. I think there are special rules for France, Germany, and Spain. Can you recommend a resource that gives a good general intro to shipping? I can't, because I don't think that one exists. But the countries that you're going to want to look out for are, with Germany, your Lucid ID. For most countries, you're going to need to make sure that you're including your tariff codes, which are super easy to find now. If you just go to Google and type in, a basis of what you're selling, typically a tariff code will pop right up without you even having to click into anything. Um, what I'm not sure about Spain and France.
France is, I don't think, I, I, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think we have to 100% do it yet. But France does have a similar to Lucid that's coming in. So we do want to look at that. I haven't had a sale to France in quite a while, so I haven't looked into it. I'm not aware of Spain, but I'm pretty sure most of the EU are going to follow suit probably. Um, but do you know, the best resource I ever had, I'm obviously in the UK shipping internationally, but the best resource I had was to go into my post office and say, what do I have to do? And they kind of help. And Etsy, I held off this for so long, but Etsy labels are actually really good. They will, certain things for shipping to the EU, to tell them that you've paid, that, well, the customers paid the taxes and things, that's all dealt with digitally if you use Etsy shipping labels. It's the IOSS numbers, but Etsy deals with all that. And you will need a customs form, which again, that will be included in the shipping labels. You just have to fill in, so it's much easier. It's not as difficult as it sounds, apart from this whole Germany thing just now, but in general, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. All right, back over to YouTube. Oh, we have a question from our Gilligan. Her name is Forever Gilligan. I don't know if you knew that, Pam. I kind of have a question. I
Oh,
need
yeah.
Mark has assigned her name to be Gilligan from now on. Let's see. I kind of have a question. I'm using ChatGPT for some extra fluff descriptions for some earrings, and I guess I'm curious which is better: basic title at the top of the description or vibrant extra descriptive stuff. I'm going to experiment to see what happens over the next few months. Are you asking if you should paste your wait? Are you asking if you should paste your title into your description? I wouldn't do that. I would try to just get your good keywords into a sentence. We all used to do that a really long time ago, where we would grab our
Yeah.
whole title and paste it in.
And I
Um,
don't think it was ever the right thing to do. We just all did it.
right. Yeah.
Because I did it too. So, yeah. I think I advised it for quite a while as well. It didn't hurt. But yeah, this one, I was actually doing the Etsy shop camps when the change came for the descriptions that are included in with for SEO purposes. It's don't even worry about it, but don't overthink the descriptions. You have an opener of a sentence that kind of describes your item that should cover any kind of keywords you want. And don't be going for loads of fluff. Use your description for explaining what the customer needs to know. So if there are any, you know, questions that you think when they go into a listing, that because that's like any of us who are shopping on Etsy, are we really reading to find out how, you know, how you were inspired to make the thing? Most people aren't. They click on the description to see how big is it, what's this, you know, all the stuff that you can probably see elsewhere. But so description, little SEO paragraph or little SEO sentence, bullet points of what they need to know, and then add the fluff if you need to.
Yeah. All right, Tasha on YouTube. I just found out about eRank. Awesome. And I'm lost in how to utilize it. Do you have a video or can you do a high level overview? We can't do a high level overview today because we've only got about 10 minutes. But if you go to, because you're on YouTube now, click on the eRank channel, and Pam has been dishing out videos like a mad woman. She's been sick for the last week, so there's a little
Often in a week.
time gap.
Yeah.
But she has been making videos about everything. And also, Tasha, while you're over on eRank, down in the bottom right corner, there's going to be this almost little, it looks like a chat icon. But anytime you're on one of the tool pages, if you don't know how the tool works or you need a little bit of extra information, you can click on that bubble and it will pop up with little articles that can help guide you through how to use that tool and what the tool is for. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we will look at some. We are working on ways to do more and better. In the description of this video, there should be a link to the Facebook group as well, where we have some guides in the Facebook group if you join that. And let us know. The biggest problem kind of is everybody comes to eRank wanting to do something different. Are you
Yeah.
looking to follow your competitors? Are you looking to find keywords? Or, you know, what is it you're looking to do? So it's hard to give an overview because everybody wants to do different things. But yeah, we are trying to figure out ways to explain it better because Anthony, who created eRank and everything, wants to help everybody with all of the questions. eRank grew into this massive monster. So we want to know how, we want to be able to explain it better.
Yeah. Kirsten asked, is Etsy making my listing images, graphics, not photos, blurry, or is it just me? I don't know.
I have heard people say this. It's probably the resolution you're saving your file in. I had this with my banner for a while because I was making it on Canva and I didn't realize with the free account it was saving it at a smaller resolution. Sometimes that happens. Um, and yeah, sometimes it can be my old eyes that make things look blurry. So, yeah, I'm not aware of any immediate problem on Etsy, but check the resolution that you're saving your images at. It's really easy to mess that up sometimes.
Abigail had asked over on Facebook, can we use two-factor authentication for our Etsy shop login? Yes, you can. I just posted the link. I'll post it on Facebook, and I just posted it in the YouTube chat. If you guys are watching the replay, all you have to do is Google how to make your account more secure Etsy. And that's the title of the article, and it'll be the first link that pops up. How to make your account more secure. And then you can turn on two-factor, which I've always had two-factor set up. So
yeah, everyone should really be looking at doing this. There's
yes.
been, well, it's the internet. There's bad people on the internet. So
Yeah. I'm just a girl. Hello, just a girl. What about Pinterest? Pinterest is great. I've actually just taken 2 different Pinterest courses. I took the Pinterest Academy by Pinterest, which is free. You can all take that for free. It mainly pushes their ads platform and how to use their ads, which I wasn't really concerned about. I didn't focus on that, but I sifted through the information until I found parts about what types of graphics do well. And how to identify their trends and how to find their actual in-house keyword tool, which I found very useful. So check out the official Pinterest Academy by Pinterest, and you can learn a lot from that. I also took a Udemy course on how to use Pinterest, but it was just so basic. It was like how to create a board, how to make a new pin. So I would recommend just going straight through Pinterest because their Pinterest Academy is pretty good and it's free.
yeah, cool. I'll have to take that. I kind of got bored when I saw the advert bit and skipped out. So I'll
I
go and
had to
do that
skim
again.
it. It was a lot of it was fun. It was interactive. It was a great interface. It had interactive quizzes and games you could play to help with the lessons. I loved how it was set up. It's just you kind of gotta, if you're not interested in paying for their ads, just skip all that part.
Yeah. But I mean,
Um,
Pinterest is like all the others. You have to experiment and see what
yes.
works best for you. Um, I'm back there. I was doing great on Pinterest, and I'm not anymore. So I will have to take that course.
All right, Matthew Plazas. Any tips you recommend for people who are just starting out their stores? Learn, learn, learn. There we have tons of videos here. Spend a lot of time learning and never use the words "I've done everything" because there is always something to do. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and I learn something new every day.
Absolutely. And realistic expectations, always be experimenting, trying new things, but yeah, don't expect tons of sales straight away. Just work on making listings, getting them listed, treating your customers great, and absolutely learn everything, but don't get bogged down in some of the forums and groups and things where everyone are sitting around navel gazing and being negative. Doesn't help, basically.
All right. We've got about little over 5 minutes, so we'll probably speed round the last of you guys to see if we can try to get everybody answered. Jennifer on YouTube asked, how long does it take before you see your first sales on Etsy? There's no way to answer this. It's going to depend on how good your keywords are, how good your photos are, what season it is, what type of product you're selling, who is your primary demographic. It all completely depends. There is absolutely, unfortunately, no way to answer that. Everybody is going to have different results.
Yeah. Probably longer than you think
Yep.
is unfortunately. But yeah, just got to keep going, keep getting better.
Yep. Keep learning.
Best of luck with your shop.
Yeah. Um, feel free to yell at me if I mispronounce your name. I think it's Mustafa. My Etsy shop was suspended 3 months ago and then reopened 4 hours later, but my sales halved after that day and still haven't improved. Is this a normal situation? It depends on what you were suspended for. If you were suspended for something like copyright infringement, it might have made a hit on your overall customer and marketplace experience score, which is kind of the sum total of your good standing with Etsy. And they do tell us that things like copyright strikes and cases against your shop can hurt the score. But you can always recover as long as you keep working hard and you make sure that you are following the rules. Now, if it was an accidental suspension and it was just a bug, I would reach out to their support and maybe ask them just in case there's something going on.
Yeah. But bear in mind, 3 months ago was the end of the Christmas period.
That
It
too.
could just be normal. Unfortunately, like most of us are seeing a big drop in sales just now, and we do every single year. It's horrible, but it's what it is. Um, what what we should all of us, what we should be doing, if you see your sales drop, you want to look at what's dropped. It's not just my sales have dropped. Where was your traffic coming from? If it was coming from search, what keywords were you being seen for? Are you still ranking for those keywords? You know, it's really easy. I just mentioned a minute ago, I used to be doing great on Pinterest. A couple of years ago, I was getting tons of views and sales. They all dropped. It's really easy for everyone to go, oh no, Etsy's done something. But when I actually dug in my stats, it was like, oh, hang on, Pinterest just fell off a cliff. It had nothing to do with Etsy. So there are so many factors that go into why you're getting views and sales. You've got to look into where was that traffic coming from and what has changed, rather than, it can just be a coincidence that your shop was suspended, but something else even changed.
Yeah. We call it reading the chicken bones. Don't read signals that aren't really there. Make sure that you're looking at all factors. We always had sellers, not so much anymore, but we had a lot of sellers who said, like, I joined Etsy in 2019 and 2020 and my sales were great. And then now I'm not making any sales. Well, yeah, everybody was stuck at home because we were in a pandemic and everybody had to shop online and they were bored and they had stimulus checks. And, all industries online were doing really, really well. And then when Etsy went back to normal, because people were able to shop in stores again, it did feel like Etsy was doing bad, but in reality, Etsy was still doing better than it ever had before the pandemic. It was just normalizing. So we can't count anomalies into that. And our yearly anomaly is, the holiday season. It's the time when sales spike up. They usually start around September. And then October they do decent, and then November they explode. December you've got a lot of last minute shoppers, and then January, February sales get really, really slow again for most industries. And spring and summer are also historically very slow on Etsy, unless you sell something like, beach bags and bikinis. Most people are out and they're not doing online shopping. They're shopping in stores. They're going out. They're spending time outside. They're saving their money. And as you sell on Etsy and as the years go by, it's important to, when you make a lot of money for the holidays, learn how to kind of ration that money out and expect that you're going to have to kind of make it last, for a couple months. And it's something that everybody has to learn. It usually takes a couple years of selling before you figure out, what your unique selling patterns are going to be for the holidays. But I recall, like, some of my very, very best holiday seasons immediately were preceded by some of my slowest seasons I'd ever encountered.
Yeah, it's really difficult, but like you heard it here first. For the next 4 to 5 months, it's unlikely to be amazing sales. It's not saying that you can't make sales, but you're gonna you're gonna hear a lot of people complaining about it being quiet,
Yeah.
and it's normal. It's gonna be quiet. I'm buying less than I am at Christmas. We all are.
Oh
A,
yeah,
a little
absolutely.
bit less. I've really got to stop with buying rubbish online just now.
All right, we've got 1 minute to go, and Gilligan has slid in at the last minute with her final question. She's like, I always see it like the little kids sliding under the door at the mall as the mall door is closing. I'm waiting the 90 days for my new shop to start ranking, which technically you're ranking immediately. It's not that you're not ranking, you're just building up your listing quality. And trying to get Etsy to, you're writing out the boost basically. I've got till the first week of May. After that, since I only have 1 out of 100 being spotted, what would be ideal to do after the 90 days? I guess tweaking my SEO and look for a few different lower hanging keywords. It's a slow, we're in the slow season. So it might not even be an issue with your SEO. It might just be because we're all kind of going through that slump. Before you tweak SEO, I would, maybe if you've got multiple listing photos, which I know you do, maybe take your thumbnail and swap it out for like whatever your second photo is and play with that for a couple weeks and test it. There are a lot of things I would test before I try to test SEO and start changing keywords, especially since it's very likely it's a seasonal stall.
Yeah. I mean, that is very much that there's no magic 90 days.
Yeah.
If you're ranking, you're ranking. Um, what I would be doing, as we know, it's quiet and stuff. Look at the keywords that you've chosen and see if you are ranking for them, and then look at those keywords and see if people are actually searching for them. So that's using things like our keyword tool. Um, on top of that, this is also the really good time to be playing around with social media. What different types of images work? What different types of posts? What are people responding better to? You can get an idea of what people like. Also, with those kind of social media posts, you can get an idea of what they're looking for. You might get, you know, different color people are asking for, a different material. I'm not entirely sure what your shop is, but, you can get ideas of what people are looking for. So I would literally be using this time to be thinking of but to be testing the new things that you can be making, rather than thinking of how am I going to tweak these listings that I've already got. They might be in the perfect place, but there's just no one looking just now. So generally, I would be thinking of what new things I can be churning out. Am I ranking? What do people like? Build up a load of stuff. See if you can build up your listings for Halloween and Christmas, and then see what works.
Yeah, because she does like wooden decor and signs and things. So yeah, definitely
Mhm.
definitely start thinking ahead or for Halloween, because the crazy Halloween people will be shopping pretty soon, sooner than you think. So
Yeah, signs and things for Halloween are pretty huge. So
mhm.
yeah, get your cool social media things out
Yeah.
that people can like. They might not be buying signs for Halloween, but they're loving photos and sharing things and stuff. So yeah, see what you can do.
All right, guys. Only 3 minutes over. So thank you to everybody who hung out with us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you join the eRank group on Facebook. If you're ever worried that you're not going to be able to join live, or if you have a question and you're watching the replay right now and you wish that you could join these live, but maybe your time zone doesn't permit or you've got a busy schedule, you can join that eRank group. And every Wednesday, pinned to the very top of the group wall, there will be a post where you can submit your questions early and cut the line. Other than that, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, check out all of the videos that Pam has been making. She has made so many awesome videos over here on the eRank channel, overviewing all of the different tools and different questions that we receive frequently. If you've got a question about how a specific tool works, it's very likely that we have a video on it. So go check that out. And yeah, guys, thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks.